Back to the channel. This is Radio Jonesy, and I'll tell you what, I'm just sitting here in the car on the bay side of in Stanley. It's a beautiful day. It's springtime. A little bit of wind about it. You'd expect that up here. But I'd just like to talk about the time in your life when death is upon us. Like heard overnight, one of the legendary radio talkback radio DJs, talkback commentator, influencer, whatever you want to call him, but he's John Laws was his name, and I grew up listening to Lawsy. He died after a few days in hospital. He went home and died peacefully at his home with his family around him, which is probably good to hear at 90. So he's had a great innings. It's the man with the golden tonsils, the golden microphone, the golden headphones. He made radio what it is today. Well, not what it is today. what it was. Today's radio is just slowly dying a slow death. But John Laws, I've met him a couple of times. Lovely old bloke to talk to. He was always in a hurry when I did meet him. But such an influencer over a whole life of generational people. Like, I was a teenager. My mother, we were in the car, and my mother said, "Listen to this." And there was a lady on the light, rang him up, and this is going live to air, and she wanted to do harm to herself because of family troubles, and she was crying, and she says, I'm going to do it, and he was talking to her, to calming her down. He actually had the sense to get the call, because it was from a house, contact the authorities to say this person's in trouble. They found where the call was coming from, and he kept them on the phone until you could hear she started to scream because people were breaking into her house. Well, those people breaking into her house were the fire brigade and ambulance and police were there to save her. So I'll never forget that. I was a teenager. I was a young teenager. I was in the car. And I said to my mother, I said, why would she ring talkback radio and complain and whinge and whine? And my mother said, well, she had nobody else. This person meant something to her, so she wanted to tell her problems to John Laws, and he saved the day. He fixed that person. And actually, a follow-on from that was months later. He went out there personally once she got out of hospital. She got helped and cared for, and basically, set her up, looked after her, got a few friends in the business to assist with the problems that she had, and I just seen that from a youngster going, you know what, these people are tall poppy celebrities, superstars, but some of them are actually really good people. Yeah, and there's always the tall poppy syndrome, and not everyone's perfect. There's always someone there to shoot him down, to say. But I have met him a couple of times in a radio station, and he was just a nice, hard-working old fella. That's what I thought when I met him. And he had the aura of him, and and I'm sitting here today in my 60s, I come up here to do a job. Yeah, we've done it. I'm just sitting here chilling out, the view. Yeah, the wind's coming in, the green hills in the background. You know, like, it is a beautiful spot. And just thinking how good life really is, you know, like what you need to, how you should appreciate every day, you know. And it's the little things in life. And I really mean this. It is the tiny things in life that sets us apart. Like, when you enjoy those little moments, you know, those little moments are special, precious. You know, like, I feel like this has happened. I heard it in the news. I'm at work, I've come here and I've sat here, and for whatever reason, the memories of the great man come flooding back, and as I put the phone back in the cradle, and yeah, it's I don't know, it's like every day is precious. Every minute is precious. How quick does time go? And just sitting here, watching the weather, watching a couple of seagulls arguing there. They think I'm sitting here with food. But if you take the time to appreciate the small things in life, you know, the bigger things come easy. You know, you don't let the stress of a lot of little things build up. You know, you take your little battles, you fight your little battles, you have your wins. You know, you have your losses too, I suppose, but if you're above ground, you're breathing, and wherever you are, there's beauty in the world. Honestly, like, there's got to be some, like this crappy old jetty there. That was probably built in the 40s or the 50s. And it's like, you can see the rusted high tide mark. Like, the high tide would come right up and lap the top here, I'd say. That's why they're built so high here. And this is such a lovely town, Stanley. Stanley has so many old properties, and the history in this place is amazing. So all I'm saying, you know, really, enjoy them. Enjoy the little battles. Enjoy your struggles or your goals. But it's always just one little step at a time to appreciate life, you know. And it takes some, you know, when you're 60 odd years old and someone that you've sort of idolized over the years, I don't know if idolized is too strong a word, but I've really admired John Laws and the great work he's done. You know, he's a character, so there's always the Australian way is to shoot the tall poppy down. But hey, you know, like, look at his car collection, man. What a bloke, eh? He liked to drink. He loved his wife. He loved women. He loved music. He was even acting. I seen him acting on an episode of Skippy once. He was, you know, he's on Bandstand, for Christ, you know, for crying out loud. He with Brian Henderson, you know, singing with that baritone, deep voice. But the appreciation of the man and seeing the latest Like, you remember him in his prime. You remember him even in his later years when he made his comeback in his 80s to go back to 2SM and was killing it. Was absolutely killing it. Was doing great things. And then on his passing, you know, there was a few videos of him meeting. Like, he lived in an apartment complex in Sydney, on the water there at on Sydney Harbour, and Russell Crowe was his neighbour. Russell Crowe's got this farm up on the mid-north coast of New South Wales, but he's also got this apartment in the middle of Sydney, and they were great buds. So yeah, it just makes you want to go. When you see the final curtain, don't put your hand out the window. These crazy birds think you're going to feed them. They're probably going to jump on the car in a minute. But yeah, take your little steps at a time. Don't let issues build and build and build. Take time to relax. It's always the little things in life. It's the little things in life that really that you should not let get on top of you. You should really embrace and appreciate the little things. Like, I'm sitting here having a bit of a think and looking at the water. I could be in the car. I could be driving home. I could be going to the shops. I could 100 things I could be doing. But take some time out of your day. Appreciate the little things in life. But the turquoise green and the lovely harbour here, that obviously you can see the edges there where the high tide comes into. And there's one of the little culprits down the bottom there. But that's all I wanted to say. Appreciate the small things in life. Sit back, relax, and smell the roses. You know, that's an old saying, but it's a good one. Hey, this is Radio Jonesy. Until I meet you again on the next little conversation video. Yep. Enjoy what you have. And I will see you on the next video. Ciao.